Welcome to the Power of Offense with Keith and Rodney. And I'm your host, Keith, and right below me on your screen is Rodney.
Greeting, peace to the gods.
Here at the Power of Offense, we entertain you with legal commentary from a layman's point of view. That's what we do here at the Power of Offense, y'all. Now, today, right, we have another hot one for you, and we want to discuss this song that was just dropped by the Canadian rapper Tom MacDonald. All right, now this song is called Cancel, right? He just dropped this one a day ago. All right, so I want us to listen to this, all right, because we're going to go somewhere with this. We're going to unpack it, right, based upon his song. All right, so this one right here, we're going to listen to the whole song straight through, and then we'll take it from there. All right, fair use, fair use.
Time trying to cancel me. They love me because they know that
An animal. All right, I wanted to, hey Rod, I wanted to play that, man. I thought that was hot too, just as much as the fake woke song, and just let everyone know, you know, sometimes I try to sing, right? I actually thought my ad lib was kind of hot. You know what I mean? I thought it was hot, you know. But now the reason why I thought it was cool to play it, because I always wanted to do a show talking about the cancel culture. You know what I mean? And you know, we're going to line this up and unpack it as we go, because we're going somewhere with this. All right. And again, what I would say that I appreciate about the work of Tom MacDonald is that he talks about he talks about a lot of issues that I think is pressing on Americans today, as far as like censorship of freedom of speech, how people want to cancel you because they don't like what you're saying. They want to ruin your career, right? They want to ruin the opportunities for you, things like that. You know what I mean? So I thought this was hot. All right. Now, the song is called Cancel, right? And what he's talking about is what they call the cancel culture, right? Right here on the screen, I have a definition for cancel culture. And it says that the cancel culture, or the call-out culture, is a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of the social or professional circles, either online or in social media, in the real world, or both. So again, you have people, right, who like to call out other people and have them ostracized for things that they say. They want to censor freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and in some cases, freedom of association. This is why I wanted to address this. All right. Now, to me, the cancel culture, right, based upon this definition, is similar to bullying. And in this particular case, I'm going to say cyberbullying. All right. Now, cyberbullying is the use of electronic communications, right? Things like social media, to bully a person, typically by sending messages of an intimidating or threatening nature. All right. Now, when you put the cancel culture, right, and you add that, right, to cyberbullying, it sounds to me like nothing more than mobocracy, aka democracy. Now, I'm gonna connect the dots as we move on. All right, that's what it sounds like to me, because the people who practice the people who practice excuse me, the cancel culture are typically people that are on the left side of the aisle. These are the progressives, right? They call themselves progressives. They exist on the left side of the aisle, the Democrats, right? And I just want to connect this because I want people to see, I want all of you all to see that the cancel culture, right, plus cyberbullying, which is the same thing in my opinion, equals democracy, aka mobocracy. That's the point. All right, we're going to unpack this. Now, I have an article. This article is from the medium.com. It's called Cancel Culture, just another form of bullying, right? That's what it's called. Making others look foolish, in no way to encourage a change in behavior, right? I can agree to that. Making someone look foolish, I don't think is a way to encourage a change neither, right? Now let's read it. It says, a Utah high school student decided last year that she wanted a different kind of dress for her prom, something uniquely beautiful and meaningful. In a vintage clothing store in downtown Salt Lake City, she found it. It was a Chinese cheongsam. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it says with its high collar and body hugging fit. Now, Chinese songsham, right? Or cheongsam is what this woman right here has on, this Chinese woman. I'm sure a lot of us have seen this dress before, especially in Hollywood pictures. Now, the article goes on and it says she posted pictures on Twitter of her big night and unknowingly set off a viral storm of responses. One of the first negatives came from a man who took the teenager to task for what he called cultural appropriation by her non-Asian self wearing a traditional Asian garment. He was angry and did not mince words. I don't believe in boasting hate speech, so I didn't give links to such comments, right? The Washington Post published a detailed article of the controversy, so you can read it there. So right here, they provided a link for us that if we wanted to go and check out exactly what those comments are, we can go to the Washington Post. We're not going to do that for the sake of time. Now, in many cases, like in this case, this teenage girl, right? And this is her picture right here. She was canceled. She was canceled due to what they call cultural appropriation, right? Now, I have a photo of her in her Chinese cheongsam dress. This is her right here. This is the dress that she wore, right? And this is the dress that caused all the controversy right here. And this photo right here is her with her date, right? Now, personally, I think the dress is sexy. I like the dress. It's a Chinese dress. I think it looked nice. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, I don't see nothing wrong with her wearing it. I don't. Right? Because if that's cultural appropriation, right? Maybe this is too. Neck rings. Right here on your screen, you see it's a white woman wearing neck rings, right? I guess that's cultural appropriation also. Now you see an Asian lady wearing it, right? Neck rings. She's Thai. She's wearing neck rings also, right? Now I'm sure most of us know that neck rings came from Africa. Here go an African sister wearing neck rings, right? So I guess the white woman and the Asian woman with the neck rings are cultural appropriating also, right? That's the argument. Here we have girdles, right? You know, girdles, right, or corsets is something that came from Europe, right? But yet still, we love when women wear these things. Look at this sister right here. She looks beautiful in that girdle. She does. She look hot. What you think, Rodney?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I enjoy looking at that photo.
That's right.
Right? She look hot. So I guess the argument can be made, right, by the teenage white girl that women of other races that wear girdles or corsets are culturally appropriating European culture, right? Now, my whole point in saying all of this, my whole point in bringing this up is that I think this whole cultural appropriation argument is unintelligent and is foolish, right? I like the fact that people can enjoy other people's cultures. I believe when I see women, right? When I see this sister wearing this girdle, right? It's how does she look? She's wearing that girdle to make sure she look hot. She's wearing that girdle underneath her clothes to look the best she can, right? She's not thinking about cultural appropriation or taking somebody's culture. She's thinking about looking as beautiful as she can, right? Just like this African sister, when she's wearing these neck rings, she's wearing these neck rings. Yes, it's cultural, but it's also because look at her face. Her head is held high because she knows that she looks beautiful. That's the point. Same thing with this Asian lady. Same thing, right? Same thing with this white lady. Same thing with this teenager and that Chinese dress. So my whole point is, and this is the point I'm trying to bring home to everyone, Rodney, is that I think cultural appropriation, again, is unintelligent and is foolish. When I see women wearing things from other cultures, right? In most cases, they wear it because they feel like they look beautiful They feel like they look attractive, and it's something meaningful to them. I think it's a form of celebrating other people's culture. Just like when we eat pizza or spaghetti and we're not European. What you think, Rodney?
Yeah, you should be free to wear what you like. You know what I'm saying? She wore the dress because that's what she liked. It doesn't matter where you get the idea of where the dress came. You know what I'm saying? The white girl is wearing the neck rings because she liked neck rings.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where she get the neck rings from. I eat injera. It doesn't matter that injera comes from Ethiopia. you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it ought not matter where the genesis of the clothes, food, idea, tradition, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. The genesis of it only makes a difference that you like it and you choose to indulge in that culture. So to me, it's a sign of respect. You know what I'm saying? It's a sign of respect that everyone is just like.
Thank you, Rodney.
You know, you look at black folk music, you know, although you do see some that say, well, this music comes from black folk, that's true, but they ought to see it as a sign of respect that they like how the blues started, so they started doing it. Although you can flip it and get to on the commercial side and say how we wasn't compensated for the genesis of our music, but you know what I'm saying, but at the same time it's acknowledged where the music came from, you know,
like so rock and roll. Yeah, like hip hop. You're right. And that right there connects to, again, why we played the Tom MacDonald song. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If you like a certain music, you like a certain dress, I mean, to me it shows that she's broad-minded. You know, that she's willing to look outside of what normal girls would wear at her school and a prom. That she wanted to be different. What's wrong with being different? Why do you have to be hammered for choosing to do something outside of what some people consider the norm? So it shouldn't be any type of backlash to the type of dress you choose to wear. And at the same time, she shouldn't be offended by what someone else is saying. You know, so that goes to bullying. You know, so bullying to me is overstated right now. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Bullying, all that to me is BS. Because one, you should have been told how to handle such situations. We all been bullied or attempted to be bullied by, or we was a bully ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You either were a bully or someone tried to bully you. So most parents, I know in my growing up, in my day and age, we were taught how to deal with bullies and we were taught how not to be a bully. It doesn't mean that you don't bully, you know what I'm saying? But there's a way to handle being bullied. Now it's just way too commercialized and they trying to stop people from being people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know, it's opposites. You know, you're gonna have bullies and you're gonna have those who are bullied. So you have to teach those who are bullied how to handle bullies, and you have to teach those who bully how not to bully, as opposed to try to make a whole big, you know what I'm saying? This is like a whole big political thing now, and I think it's just way out of it. In other words, they're doing too much.
I agree, Rodney.
In my opinion, we shouldn't even be having this type of conversation about bullying and what somebody choose to wear or do with their life. So that shows me that it's something bigger going on, to where we are reduced to what am I trying to?
Hey, Rodney, we are reduced to mob attacks, mob rule, aka democracy. You know what I mean?
We are reduced to the effects that, you know what I'm saying? If somebody tried to, it's the effect. Or a person may try to bully you or may try to talk about. I don't think if someone talking about you is a bully. You know, to me, that's straight BS. If you're on a line online and somebody is saying bad things about you, that's the equivalent of we used to call it joning. You know what I'm saying? When you join on somebody. So we used to ride the school bus, take us 45 minutes to get from our neighborhood to school.
Old school DMV.
45 minutes, we frying people. You know,
right. Old school DMV.
Yeah. Were we bullying? That's not bullying. That's joning. We going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand. We have to learn how to handle certain situations. And to me, we're not learning how to handle a situation like a mob. Instead, we're trying to create laws to try to say, well, you can't bully. That's to me, that's infringing on your freedom of speech, on your actions, as long as you know what I'm saying. So then people would make the argument, well, my son was bullied, he committed suicide. Well, to me, that's the parent's fault.
I agree.
Not teaching your child how to deal with the world. You know what I'm saying? But trying to be your child friend as opposed to preparing your child for outside of your home. Your home is a bubble. So therefore, you teach your child how to deal with when they walk outside of that bubble. So if you don't teach your child how to walk outside of that bubble, and your child is so affected by what somebody is saying to them, and they kill themselves, that's on the parent should be charged, in my opinion. The parent should be charged for not being a parent. You must have been a friend, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I agree. I like how you broke that down. I agree 100%. You know.
Now, I like the dress. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the dress. To me, it's an honor. You know what I'm saying? If I was a Chinese person and I saw somebody wearing a Chinese dress, something like that, that's being honorable. Versus, there was you know how Kyrie Irving, he's becoming a little conscious. He's talking about certain things he's talking about. He's burning sage. You know, he's paying homage to the ancestors. And there was a guy who's a internet person, a YouTuber, who mocked them. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you mock a person, that's disrespectful to the whole ancestral thing, as opposed to respecting it. You know, he doesn't have respect for the ancestors. It didn't mean that. And then he tried to rough Kyrie Irving, said, not only did I mock your ancestors and your thousands of years tradition, but I'm gonna challenge you to a fight. I'm gonna whoop your ass over. You know, he actually challenged them to a fight. You know what I'm saying? Not only am I gonna mock what you're doing, but I'm gonna put you in the ring if you choose to come in there, and I'm gonna whoop you over. You know what I'm saying? So is Kyrie acting like, oh, you're trying to bully me? Nah, he was taught how to handle bullies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
He's not trying to go hang himself where he's dishonoring my ancestors, and now he's trying to whip my ass, so I'm gonna go hang myself. Nah, he was taught better. So we need to teach our children better, so whenever they meet people who try to tease them or try to make them feel bad, they know how to handle it. So in other words, we need to be parents. And the reason why most of us are not parents is because what you're saying, that mobocracy. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You know, they're starting to pass laws and intervene in the family, and going to try to come in and say, well, if you don't know how to teach your child, I'm gonna set laws in place to infringe on a person's free rights. Right. That's mobocracy.
That's real. That's real.
Pass a law to infringe on someone's free speech, free actions. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're
not hitting the person. To me, a bully, they come up to you, punch in your chest, go in your pockets, take your lunch money. That's a bully. That's an injury. You know, you got punched in your check, you got punched in your chest, and something was stolen from you. And the guy was way bigger than you, so you afraid to fight back. This guy's big. He just punched me, hurt, here go my lunch money. You know what I'm saying? That's bullying. Right. If you want to define bully. You know what I'm saying? Bully is not saying, well, I'm gonna talk about you so bad to as you want to go kill yourself. I mean, what type of structural family foundation does the child takes whenever he takes what a person's saying and chooses to harm themselves? You know what I'm saying? So instead of trying to change what democracy should be doing, was trying to teach the parents how to teach their children how to withstand and overcome that, as opposed to trying to pass color of law to infringe on our protected rights.
Well, let's address that, because that's a part of us unpacking it too, Rodney. You know, democracy should teach that, but of course it wouldn't, because democracy is AKA mobocracy or mob rule. You know what I mean? democracy, right, is not what we have. Democracy is the majority bullying individual people for having freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right? And this is where this article is going. You know what I mean? That's why I think this article is hot. Now, it goes on and it says, this kind of thing isn't unusual on Twitter. In fact, the platform has become a launch pad for all sorts of personal attacks on people for the most ridiculous reasons. And I agree with that. It says the goal of these attacks is to publicly shame someone for committing, in the eyes of the attackers, some unexcusable transgression of social behavior, right? Now, it says this seek and destroy conduct is known as cancel culture, right? Cancel culture is also called call-out culture or outrage culture. The attacks typically start with one or two individuals volubly expressing their ire over whatever issue is upsetting them. These responses are then released onto social media, again, frequently Twitter, where they are amplified exponentially by others responding, not to the original issue necessarily, but rather to the outrage of the initial attacker, right? Now, right here it says, those who practice it themselves, right? Those who practice it see themselves as progressive activists who are taking the fight straight to the people and cramming it down their throats. Now, again, to me, that sounds like mob rule, right? Now, progressive activists exist on the left side of the aisle. These are Democrats, right? Democracy, aka mobocracy, mob rule, right? So they want to cram how they feel about what you said, right? They want to sit there and cram their ideas and their opinions about what you said down your throat, in other words. Now, it says the canceling occurs when the level of outrage against the alleged offender rises to the point where the person's life and reputation are actually harmed. This is a frequent problem for celebrities whose mistaken utterance from decades ago are dredged up and thrown back in their faces, causing fans to stop supporting them and their projects. Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn faced cancel culture last year when he was fired from the helm of the third installment in the movie series after tweets he had posted a decade earlier resurfaced in a Me Too environment. While those posts were clearly in very poor taste, Gunn was fired without being given any chance to address them or apologize for them, right? So this is the goal of the cancel culture, or these progressives, right, that like to cancel people out. Their goal is to have your reputation destroyed, to have opportunity destroyed for you. That is mobocracy, mob rule. Yes.
Let me interject, because he was fired for something he said 10 years ago or done 10 years ago, right?
Right.
So this, like, that's a lawsuit. you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But does he know that's the lawsuit? Does he know the law, or is he relying on an attorney and say, well, you shouldn't have said it, you fired, and this and that? You know, that's unlawful termination. And it's the same thing with the brother that, even though it was a woman accused him of sexual misconduct, but the brother that made the movie about what's the I just
talking about the Nat Turner movie.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So the movie, it was a hell of a movie. I loved the movie, but the movie didn't
Agree.
get the movie didn't get the accolades and the views just because of what he, even if he did, and I'm not condoning anything, any type of sexual misconduct against women. I'm white. I'm married. I have 2 daughters raised by my mother, so I understand and respect for women. I get that, but at the same time, whenever anything happens and it's addressed, then you know what I'm saying, you have to separate what a person does privately versus what a person does in their career, unless it's merged together. You know what I'm saying? That had he is sexually misconduct, had misconduct sexually with a person within his work, you know what I'm saying, then that should affect his work. But if it's something that he's done privately, it should be handled private. It shouldn't affect what he does in his craft.
Agreed.
You feel what I'm saying? So that probably speaks more volume to what you're saying about this cancel culture, how they just try to just fire people and just get rid of people based off because somebody's feelings are hurt. You know, that's pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Someone's feelings got hurt because of something that he said. Now we take the physical action away, because when you touch somebody or you bother somebody, you're violating their space. But if you say something to somebody, you know, there's a maxim: sticks and stones break your bones, words never hurt you. So the fact that their words hurt them, there's a problem there. There's a huge problem. There's an infringement to where people have to be careful about what they say. I think we should all be careful of what we do, but I think a person should be able to say what they want to say, and the person that receives something that's verbal to them that they don't agree with, or something that hurt their feelings, they should be able to deal with that from the way they was raised. So the way that people are being raised now, it appears to me that they can't handle words. You feel what I'm saying? So if somebody hit you with a stick, somebody hit you with a stone, or somebody physically touch you or do something that was unwarranted, then that's a different issue. But if somebody say something to you or say something about you, and now this guy done got fired because something that he said or post or something like that, there's a serious problem there. And whoever is behind this type of cancel culture, something like that, I mean, and it seems like it's a mob. It's just like what you're saying. Because Democrat, and I grew up Democratic, but now that I understand more of political politics and things of that nature, I wave on both sides. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I deal with issues. So, I just wanted to interject that because it seems weird to me, very weird.
Well, check this out, Ronnie. As we go, right, I'm gonna link it all for everybody, right? Because I'm like this. All this happening, the cancel culture is simply mobocracy, aka democracy. That's all it is. And I'm gonna prove why I'm saying this, right? I'm going somewhere with this. All right. Now I'm gonna finish unpacking this. It says President Barack Obama gave a speech at the Obama Foundation Summit last Tuesday where he criticized cancel culture for its focus on perfectionism, noting that we're all human and are prone to mistakes. He called the conduct ineffective and stated that it is not activism, right? So Democratic former President Barack Obama doesn't even agree with cancel culture, although you have the far left that does this. But let's keep going. It says that's one of the biggest problems with cancel culture. Those who practice themselves as progressive activists who are taking the fight straight to the people and cramming it down their throats. They believe that this kind of activity is the only way to enact change right now. And that's where the sticking point is. The disenfranchised, tired of being stepped on, want an entire culture to accommodate them immediately. They see social media as a tool to force their point of view on the society that hasn't come to terms with those views. Now it says the concept of cancel culture isn't really new. Societies have used humiliation and social exile as a way to force moral conformity since the beginning of time. Incest, for example, is morally reprehensible to many, if not most societies. Whether frowned upon or actually legislated against, suppression of that particular practice is widely accepted. Child pornography, murder, and cannibalism are other examples of widespread societal taboos. But the reason that call-out culture works in the first place is that the particular beliefs of any given society are, for the most part, universally accepted by its members. Murder is recognized as wrong by pretty much everyone everywhere. There are pockets where murder may be an acceptable means to an end, say religious wars, for example, mafia type hits, but humanity as a whole does not condone murder. Now, the article goes on and it says what is acceptable can vary from one society to another. The point is that the majority of members in that particular society agree on those boundaries, right? Now, the reason that call out culture is so controversial now is that the people who are doing the calling out are the marginalized, not the majority. The activists believe that their cause, whatever it is right and just, and that everyone needs to agree with them right now or today, right? It says their cause may indeed be right and just. Now that's subjective, y'all. We're not talking about the issues of outrage in this article. What we're talking about is whether or not calling out individuals online is really social activism or whether it's cyber bullying. All right. It says, how is 50,000 strangers humiliating a teenage girl? Right. Now, remember the teenage girl wearing the Chinese dress over her choice of a prom dress supposed to drive social change. The reason that the call out culture is so controversial now is that the people who are doing the calling out are the marginalized and not the majority. Do the attackers think that everyone reading their angry posts online will be mortified or even making a mistake like this girl did? Ever making a mistake like this girl did? And so then everyone will immediately understand and stop cultural appropriation. It's publicly denouncing, and make no mistake, the very internet is very public. Yes, it is. People really going to make others sympathetic to your cause, right? Do they really believe these things? Now it says this is what President Obama meant when he said that the call out culture is not activism. Calling cancel culture activism is to overlook some very salient points. Humiliation is not a driver of social change. It is a method of keeping people in line with society's values, whatever they may be. In order for it to work, that society has to be in agreement about what is acceptable and what is not, and we're simply not in agreement yet. Additionally, there is the issue of agenda, being what is the motivation behind calling out individuals. It is very easy to hide behind the cloak of progressive activism in order to cover up the fact that all you're really doing is bullying someone whose beliefs differ from yours. If your concern is cultural appropriation, attacking a kid of a dress is a chicken shit move. Now, I agree with that, right? Now, I want to say this, right? Because the rest of the article is, we're pretty much at the end, right? I kind of want to wrap this article up. But I did like the fact, like you made it clear, Rodney, to me, when I see people wear things from other cultures, like when I see a white man or a white woman wear African garb, to me, that's a form of respect. That's how I interpret it. And people normally wear stuff that they like and they find themselves attractive in. That's just typically how people operate. They wear stuff that they like, stuff that they respect, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't understand this whole cultural appropriation thing. To me, it's another form of segregation. People want to segregate their culture from other people. But we live in a country that's a mixing bowl where there are lots of cultures, right? I mean, hell, we all interchangeably eat different foods. You know what I mean? At least most of us do. So I don't see nothing wrong with people showing respect by wearing something that's from my culture. I do want to say that.
Right, I totally agree, and it's just overbearing, and how what the people are doing. You know what I'm saying? It is like a form of, I don't know, bullying. I don't even like using the word anymore because it's to me it's misused.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That word is really misused. So I don't really understand what they're doing. If you don't like what a person's saying online, don't be online. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. So yeah, I don't have a lot of patience with this.
I could agree to you. That I could agree with that, Rodney. Now, I do want to show this, right? You know, let me go back. Let me go back to our training manual, right? Now, let me reintroduce this. This is the training manual, right, that was issued by the United States War Department, aka the Department of Defense, on November the 30th, 1928. So this manual is from 1928, and the manual training number, or the number of this manual, is TM, right, training manual 2000-25, and this is a citizenship manual. All right. Now, I keep on making references to this whole cancel culture, right, being democracy, aka mobocracy, and I want to explain why I keep on saying these things. All right, because again, when these groups of people gang up, right, in the example that we heard, against a teenage girl because she's wearing a Chinese traditional dress, right, they are mobbing her. That's mob rule. Now, right here, you can see that democracy is a government of the masses. It results in mobocracy. That's why it's not strange to me that the people doing this are on the left side of the aisle. They are an extremist group, right, of progressive activists that is within the Democratic Party. I'm not surprised, because that's what democracy is according to this training manual that was issued by the United States government, right? Now it says the attitude towards property is communistic, negating property rights. Now, our right to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of association is a form of property. It's a form of property. Your thoughts are things, right? Your words are things, and it's your property.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's your right. You know, she has a right to wear what she chooses.
To express herself.
And rights, you know, if you can look up 1,000 definitions for rights, but to sum it up in one word, rights are your property. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to negate her property, which is her right to wear what she chooses to wear. And the fact that, you know, now, do you know the result of them mobbing up against her, and like what did she, how did she respond to that?
That's what I'm not certain. I believe the Washington Post article goes into that, but I didn't want to spend too much time on that per se. Mm-hmm. I'm also wanted to deal with the fact that you have this cancel culture that's going around, and they're trying to destroy people's careers and their opportunity. This is why the rapper Tom MacDonald was rapping what he's rapping. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so I wanted to deal with the issue that, to me, the same people that cry and bitch about bullying, which is the left, these are the same people that cry and bitch about bullying, are the ones that's actually bullying through what they call cultural appropriation, or the cancer culture, right? That's all. It's all in the same scope. And I'm like, simply all it is mobocracy, aka democracy, and it's communistic. The attitude behind it is communistic. Now, I'm still gonna tie this. I got more to tie this. You know, I'm gonna tie this for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I want to lay this out right now. I want them to see why I keep on saying this. You know what I mean? Because like right here, it says attitude towards law is that the will of the majority, which would be the people canceling out other people, shall regulate whether it's based upon deliberation or governed by passion. Are these people passionate about how they feel, and they don't like the fact that that she's wearing this dress? So they are regulating her with passion because they don't like the fact she has it on and she's white. She's wearing a Chinese dress, right? Whether it's governed by prejudice, right? And with impulse and without constraints or regard to consequence. These people basically is just operating out of their emotion. It's the point I'm trying to raise, which is democracy. But we don't have a democracy here in America. That's not guaranteed in our Constitution. We have a guaranteed Republican form of government. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do is show the thought process of a large segment of people in our country, right, is predicated in democracy, which leads to communism. And I'm gonna get there. I'm trying to unpack this. I'm going somewhere with this, and I'm presenting all the facts. You know what I'm saying? So can't nobody sit there and say what we saying right here is not true, because I'm laying it all out. So again, this booklet is from 1928, y'all.
And also explain that the book is authentic because the book was authenticated by the
Congressional Record, the Senate,
Library of Congress.
Yeah, and we had the Library of Congress. Yep. Yeah, we had
authenticated copy, which sits, anything that's in the Library of Congress come from the Archives Department. So the Archive Department, they don't house documents that are meaningless. You know, they don't house documents and preserve these documents if they're not real, or if they're not part of what the United States of America was intended to operate under. So the reason why I continue to go back to this book is to show how this book really expressed how the United States is supposed to conduct themselves. But as we see now, that it's turning into something that it was not the original intent by the founding thieves of the country and those who wrote the Constitution. So based on that, whenever the people that are doing going against the young lady for wearing the dress, they're trying to create the mob You know what I'm saying? So you start as a little group, and it build like a snowball going down the hill. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to start the snowball to go down the hill to make everyone fall underneath their mobocracy and democracy, and it probably will work eventually because of the misinformation, the unintelligent, how the people became through the educational system. You know what I'm saying? So this democracy is being fed by, if you watch the other videos on democracy, by the government, by the president, by the congressman. You know, so this democracy is being pushed upon us by the people that we look to for guidance within our country, which is very dangerous to me, and I don't know where they're going with it. So one of our main reasons why we're on the internet is to try to explain and express to people that we have to do our own study. Keith and I done our own study, our own research, and we're presenting this to you with evidence. You know, we leave our feelings aside. What Keith believe, what I believe, how Keith vote, how I vote, doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're trying to get to the root of what's really going on and how this country was originally founded by the thieves, and how it would benefit us more to really understand civics and the law for ourselves, because we're being misrepresented and miseducated through the system created by them. I just want to put that out there. I ain't mean to digress.
No. I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna show where this is leading to. I'm glad that you just laid all of that out there, what you just said, because I'm gonna show where this is leading to. All right. And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna show the facts. All right. Now check this out, y'all. Now, here we go. Okay, here we go right here. I have an article that's from the businessinsider.com, right? Now, this article says that China, right, has started ranking citizens with a creepy social credit system. Here's what you can do wrong, and the embarrassing, demeaning ways they can punish you. All right. So in China, right, they have been developing a social credit system. All right. And this credit system, right, is developed to where they can actually blacklist you or blackball you. Right. Now, it says right here, China plans to rank all of its citizens based on their social credit by 2020. Now, keep in mind the word social, right? Like socialism, social. It says people can be rewarded or punished according to their scores, right? So you can get rewarded, but you can also be punished.
And that's crazy.
Isn't it?
Damn.
It says like private financial scores, a person's social score can move up and down according to their behavior. At the moment, the system is piecemeal. Some are ran by city councils, while others are scored by private tech platforms that hold personal data. And then it says scroll down to see how you can be punished or rewarded. So we're going to take a quick look at this, y'all. We're going to unpack this. All right. And it says the Chinese state is setting up a vast ranking system that will monitor the behavior of its enormous population and rank them based on its social credit. The social credit system, first announced in 2014, aims to reinforce the idea that keeping trust is glorious and breaking trust is disgraceful, according to a government document. The program is due to be fully operational nationwide by 2020. So here we are, we in 2021, right? So it should be fully operational right now. It says, but it is being piloted for millions of people across the country already. It says the scheme will be mandatory. So this means it applies to all Chinese residents, man. It's mandatory. It says at the moment, the system is piecemeal. Some are ran by city councils. Okay, others are scored by private tech platforms which hold personal data. And it says, like credit scores, a person's social score can move up and down depending on their behavior. The exact methodology is a secret, but examples of infractions include bad driving, smoking in non-smoking zones, buying too many video games. Now that's a funny one. And it says posting fake news online. So imagine that. Now, posting fake news to me can simply mean a person give their opinion. Example, a person can post something on Twitter saying that they believe the election was rigged, right? The election here in America. If that was China, then you could get a bad score for saying something like that. That's crazy. right? Now that's crazy according to American values.
Yeah, because also that right there is even deeper, because you could be posting something true, but they deem it to be fake news.
To be fake, yeah.
You know, so that's the danger. That's the total infringement of everything spiritually, godly. I mean, that's crazy to live your life and be babysat, because that's what they're doing. They're gonna babysit you, and if you don't act a certain way, you're gonna be punished. I read about that some years ago, and that's how they was catching a lot of their criminals. They got every corner, every state in certain cities in China videotape, and they hit your retina on your eyes, and they can identify you, and they'll lock you up if you have a warrant. So you have no privacy nowhere in China, and that has crept. I'm not saying it's coming here; it's here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna link it. Right. I'm gonna link this for them.
Go ahead.
Check this out. They can ban you, right, from flying or getting on the train, right? This is stuff that they got that they're doing to their citizens, right? Now I'm not going to read what it's saying under it. I'm just going to talk about things that they're putting in place to remove rights from their citizens. So their citizens obviously don't have the right to travel because of their credit scoring system. It says throttling up your internet speed. So I guess if you're on the internet too long, especially playing video games, then they suspend your internet, right?
Even though you're paying the same price as everybody else, you can't use it as you choose. Crazy,
right? Banning you or your kids from the best schools. Ain't that something?
That's discrimination.
You know what I mean? So you could keep a class of people ignorant, dumb, and oppressed because they can't even get a quality education. This is what they doing in China. It says stop you.
And also what they can do, the fact that they have a social score, they could set the tone to where, just like they've done here, they set the tone. We was talking about it offline. They set the tone for you to fail. You know what I'm saying? Remember we were just talking about
we were just talking about that. Yeah.
So if they set the system for you to fail, they can always have a group of people on that downside in order to use them for those low-paying jobs, those those factory jobs. If you don't know better, if you're misinformed, miseducated, and unintelligent, they can kind of lay out the form, like lay out the trail for you to just go down this wrong road. You know what I'm saying? To have your social credit score in a way to keep you out of the loop, in other words.
Exactly.
Getting best jobs.
You see that? Stopping you from getting the best jobs. Now, isn't that similar to the scheme behind the cancel culture? Is to ruin your reputation, to ruin your opportunities, to get you fired from your job, to get you kicked out of school if you're in school. This is the stuff that they try to do. I'm correlating this. Yeah, I'm trying to show it's the same thing. What's going on in China is a hard version of what's happening here. What we have going on here with this cancel culture is a soft version of this social credit score system in China, right?
It's an experiment here, but it's in full form there.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at, right?
2014 is up to speed in 2020, and they've been slowly implementing it over here.
Yeah.
And in some of our later videos, we're gonna prove how China is really in bed with all of our people in power.
In the core circle. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get to that, y'all. We're gonna get to that. Now check this out, right? So number 5, keeping you out of the best hotels, right? This is stuff they do in China. Getting your dog taken away, man. That means people don't even have, man, they can't even own their dog, man. That's insane. I'm the one to feed the dog, but I can't own it. Make sense.
That's slavery.
But check this out. I want to go somewhere with this, right? Because I'm still unpacking this, right? Now, this social credit system, now this is from Wikipedia. We stated this in previous videos that we know that Wikipedia is not an accredited source, all right? We don't want people to attack us on that. No, it's not an accredited source, right? We know that educational institutions do not accept Wikipedia as a bona fide source or citation, right?
But
however,
go ahead.
I would say, however, what we like about Wikipedia is that not only do it explain stuff very well, but the people who write in Wikipedia typically give you a footnote to where the source came from. So this is why we're using Wikipedia. And I just want to touch this one part. We're not reading this whole thing. This is one part, right? Now, right here, Matter of fact, let me highlight this. It says the social credit system, right, in China is a national blacklist, right? So they blackballing people, right? Being developed by the government of the People's Republic of China under the CCP, General Secretary, and then it says his administration. But the point that I'm raising is the CCP. I want people to understand what the CCP is. The CCP is the Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party. All right. Now I'm still unpacking this because I want people to understand what you're dealing with. I want you to understand what's going on here in America. So let's take a look at this. Some of you all never heard of Mao Tse-Tung. All right. Mao Tse-Tung. I just highlighted his name at the top. And this is a page of quotes from him. All right. Now he was a great communist a philosopher in China, right? Now, I want to read something to you all. All right. I want to read this to you all because this right here, I think is going to hit home when I read this. I really believe it's going to hit home, and I'm highlighting it. Now, Mao Tse-Tung, right, said this in 1939. Now, this quote is from December 1939. And it's a part of his work called the Chinese Revolution in the Chinese Communist Party. Again, the same Chinese Communist Party that's running China today. This is what he said. He said, taken as a whole, the Chinese revolutionary movement led by the Communist Party embraces two stages, the democratic and the socialist revolutions, which are two essentially different revolutionary processes. And the second process can be carried through only after the first has been completed. Now, he just told you the first process is democratic, right? But then the second one is socialist revolution. So in order for the socialist revolution to be carried through, the democratic revolution got to happen first. Now, he goes on and he says, the democratic revolution is the necessary preparation for the socialist revolution, and the socialist revolution is the inevitable sequel to the democratic revolution. The ultimate aim for which all communists strive is to bring about a socialist and communist society. So what I'm trying to explain is this. Now let's go back to this manual that was issued by our government 10 years. Matter of fact, 11 years before Mao Tse-Tung gave this quote, right? Or gave this writing. These words came from his mouth in his book. Now let's go to the manual. Our government was already telling our young citizens, our citizens in the military, right, that democracy leads to communism. Because democracy, the attitude towards property is communistic, negating property rights. Democracy results in mobocracy. What I'm trying to say is that cancel culture, right, which is regulated by people's emotions, their passions, their prejudices, their impulse, right? Now, their prejudice exists because, again, to me, telling somebody that they can't freely express themselves by wearing something from a different culture is a form of segregation. It's a form of prejudice, right? What I'm trying to say is that all of this that we're experiencing with the cancel culture is simply nothing more than democracy, and democracy leads to a socialist revolution, which ultimately leads to communism. That's what I'm trying to say. And I believe the Chinese Communist Party is behind all of it here in America. Yes, I do.
And we're going to prove it.
We're going to prove it.
Not today, but we're going to prove it. Because we don't have time today, but we just laying the foundation of what's going on. So in other words, we're saying to wake up.
Wake up.
You know what I'm saying? We need to wake up and smell a coffee. You know, this YouTube video is a small venue whenever we're going against what Congress is saying,
exactly,
what the schools are teaching, what the presidents are saying. So we have a duty to understand ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And everything is documented. We're not bringing this stuff up from our asses. You know what I'm saying? We're going and getting bona fide documents from the Library of Congress, National Archives, the Constitution. We're getting everything to lay it out to as we can hopefully help prevent what's being done in China, and that's actually pouring over in America.
Yes, it is.
So it's very important to just understand, and we have to resist. We have to resist the ignorance. We have to resist the miseducation. We have to resist the misinformation, because the real information, as you see, is right here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? 1928 versus 1939, 11 years. They started after this 1928, where we're trying to defend what they started to put together 11 years later, and then in 2020 it's fully implemented.
A Rodney, and I'm alleging this is allegations that Keith is saying. I'm alleging, right, that the CCP, right, is specifically working with the Democratic Party here in America to spread socialism, right, which leads to communism. Now, I'm not saying that it's only the Democratic Party. I believe there's some Republicans involved in this too, right. But I definitely believe the Democratic Party definitely is working with them, and we have evidence that shows this. There is something going on, something fishy. Now, again, democracy, right, is mob rule. It's mobocracy. The attitude towards property is communistic. These are facts, y'all. And guess what? Guess what it say at the bottom? It results in anarchy. That's what's going to happen at some point.
What's anarchy for those who don't know? Give them a definition of anarchy, just in case, they may not have time to look it up. We're going to look it up for you.
Got you. Anarchy, a state of disorder due to absence of recognition of authority. Anarchy. That's what it can lead to. It's anarchy. Now, we're not saying it. Our federal government said, our Department of Defense said this back in 1928.
So the state of disorder due to the absence of non-recognition of authority, they're trying to non-recognize the republic.
Exactly.
Trying to replace it with democracy, and they're trying to say that democracy is the new authority, and they're actually trying to mix it in the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? They're saying the Constitution is based in democracy. They're saying it, but they can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because they know people don't read, they know it's not in school, so therefore they can just say it. And the fact that they're government officials, and we go to them we foolishly go to them and begging them and asking them for things whenever they are public servants. Look up the word servant. Servant means they serve us, but we go to them and we act like we're the goddamn servants. So the fact that we act like we're the servants, they treating us as such. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get beyond that. We have to get beyond that and hopefully not allow what's taking place to fully take place. It's going to be a group of people who are going to resist this, and I'm going to be one of them, because this is a complete how can you say you not own your dog? How can you say you can't go to a particular school, you can't go to a specific hotel, restaurant, things of this nature? That's slavery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's slavery without the chains.
Yeah. It'll turn it into voluntary servitude. It's not involuntary because you don't know to resist.
You're right. They're trying to subvert. This is what Rodney's talking about, y'all. I have Article 4 of our federal constitution here in America. Article 4, Section 4 guarantees us. It says the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government. We're guaranteed a Republican form of government. The United States of America is a republic. It is not a democracy, regardless of what your politicians, these state actors, right, professors, or any of them say. We have a republic. Now, I think the show was hot. I think at this point, this is probably a good point to end this show. So the points hit home with them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So again, y'all, please share, like, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.